Hello everyone, and welcome to a new project, Aarklash Legacy. A very fun squad-based strategy game. Real-time strategy game actually, but don't think Age of Empires type real-time strategy. I'm going to start a new game, and I will be playing on medium difficulty. It's there's a fair amount of challenge in that as well. Place a cursor over a unit to highlight its current target. We'll be doing that quite a bit. I'll read these out just because I can. Prologue. Collecting one's due. And the patrons bade Loris unto them. Wheel sword, you have served us well. Will you not stay and serve as always? By my honor and those of my fellows, we will serve the guild, always. Volume 1 of the Book of Debts. And press any key to continue.
This is Aarklash. The war between the Dark Lords of Acheron and the Barons of Alahan rages on. To finance the war, the Barons have gone into serious debt with the Goldmongers Guild. Many nobles have fallen behind in their payments, and the guild has sent their wheel swords, expert warriors, and masters in the art of collecting their due. A standard corps of 4 wheel swords finds itself deep in Lion territory when a new war of a very different nature is declared.
Wheel swords. Lakshai wants this bauble now. The patrons have authorized deadly force if needed.
It'll be needed.
Yes, what man in shiny armor doesn't like to show off his big sword?
So, there's another type of force? Other than deadly?
Don't worry about it.
Right. If they so much as look at you funny, kill them. Patron Lakshai wants the relic brought to him before dawn. Everyone clear?
In, out. Snick, snack. No muss, no fuss.
Wheel swords all?
Wheel swords all!
I believe we get some bits of tutorial tips up here, which I will read out. I have not finished the game myself yet. I've only played through the first act and a little bit, possibly the majority of the second act. Select Nella, left click, and then activate the device that contains the orb, which is this one. I don't have to do it on Nella, but basically I have this squad of 4 people. I can select any number of them, as you can see.
So, this is a tactical RPG.
Just the usual selecting, and I can click on a single person just to select them. I can select them down here, all very intuitive. And then I can right click on this artifact stand to get the artifact. There we go.
And here are our lions! Let's take their heads as well. Stand down! We are sanctioned by the Goldmongers.
Okay, as soon as we see an enemy, the game automatically pauses, and pausing is very important in the game. Anytime I hit the spacebar, the game pauses, basically, which allows me to make tactical decisions on where to move my characters, which characters to use which skills and such. Because by themselves, the characters only use auto attacks. If I want them to use skills, I have to activate them myself. I can't give them like general commands. I can't basically influence their AI. All they do is attack. But in pause mode, I have complete control. Now this is a very easy fight, of course. First one to show us how it works. Yeah, that's just basically what I said. Thank you. We have 2 enemies, 2 swordsmen, and we have a unit of 4. Now what I'll do is, I'll just do this fight very simple. I will tell all my guys, which I could also do this way, to attack this swordsman. That's my course of action for now. I don't think I might be needing more. Okay, To order a unit to perform an action, enable it with a left click. Hold down the shift key while you confirm an order for the action to be added at the end of the list of stacked actions. So what that means is, let's take Knocker as an example. She is currently our tank, and I will actually read a little bit more about them soon. She has a Neuro Taunt, which taunts a target for 25 seconds, and the taunt does what you would expect it to. It forces the target to fight Knocker instead of anyone else in the team for those 25 seconds, unless the taunt effect gets removed. What's important to note here is that firstly, the category of skill is control. It's a controlled skill, which means any effect that, for example, if an enemy is immune against control skills, this won't work. If an enemy can remove control skills, he can remove the taunt, stuff like that. The type of skill is kind of important. You can also tell very clearly from the color that this is control skills always have a black kind of icon color. Here we have a support skill, which is the other skill Knocker has currently unlocked. These two are still unavailable, which is the Vitae treatment, which is a support skill. She automatically heals herself for 200 HP and then regenerates 200 additional HP in 20 seconds, so it's a self-heal. And I'll just show you what the tooltip just said. If I choose the taunt, I have to choose a target, because as you can see, type target. Here we have type auto, so it's I don't have to select a target. But I'm now going to taunt this swordsman, who's still at full health. And I've lost some. As you can see, I'm at 1217. I think she has 1400-500 at this stage, maybe. So if I just press this, it overrides the skill I've currently told her to use. So I'll switch that back. If I instead hold the shift key while pushing it, it gets chained up. Similarly, for example, on Denzel, I have Hysteria of the God Red, which increases his speed of attack and his physical armor for 10 seconds. So let's just activate that. It's a short-term buff. On Nella, I will use Celestial Blow. This is a lightning damage spell. And Wendery is our healer, so she doesn't currently have anything to do. Except for attack, of course. So let's keep going.
Ready?
And there you see, Knocker healed herself. And the other swordsman's not going to be an issue. As long as I'm...
The relic is ours. Let's get out of here.
I hope Patron Lakshai appreciates our efforts.
The bravery of these lion fools was surprising. Attacking wheel swords of the guild.
Ta-da! What I was going to say, in combat my soldiers don't generally regenerate health, but as soon as combat is over, as soon as I've won a fight, my guys will very quickly regenerate to full health. So we've now collected the relic to...
There they are! Kill them! Lord Mornstar wants their heads on spikes!
Standard formation. Don't let them flank us. Naka, block their charge. Wenderu, take position to fire.
Some petty lord disagrees with the guild's claim on his inheritance.
I call dibs on the fat one. I like that pretty necklace he wears.
Cut the chat and do what needs to be done.
Okay, and enemy sighted, so we get an automatic pause. I will show you that myself. Firstly, though, I think it's time to read some background on these people. As you can see, they're a very diverse group of units. Okay, so let's start with Knocker, our current tank. Knocker's contract was not collected or traded to the Goldmongers Guild in the classic sense. She was part of an order made to the Scorpion for special miners capable of not only standing their ground on heavy legs, but sniffing out metals, pockets of poisonous gas, and traps. Knocker has trouble recognizing the smells of the living or dead, but she immediately identifies the odor of gold and silver from up to a mile away. Even though the Scorpion alchemists designed her magical and genetically complex body to precise specifications for a precise purpose, Knocker found the guild another. The patron Tabaro noticed her one day in a silver mine, and the spectacular way in which she spun a 7-foot pick. He enlisted her as a wheel sword, giving her a copper link that she said smelled of freedom. He told her to keep her nose out for debtors attempting to pay the guild in lead disguised as gold, and soon gained a reputation that saw dozens of ill-advised debtors pinned to early graves. Knocker has sent a good many of them there herself. And this tells us a little bit about the Goldmongers Guild themselves. We are basically their mercenaries working for them, but the contracts are not only standard contracts, there's also a magical side to it which makes it possible to break, I believe. And said something here about her getting a copper link. Yeah, copper link. There's a plane outside, I hope it's not too loud. I believe when the wheel swords start out working for the guild, they get a copper link. When they advance, they get a silver link. And when they get the gold link, they are basically released from their contract, so they are then free to do whatever. Okay, let's see if we can learn a little more about that in Denzel's biography. Denzel is a talented thief, skilled assassin, and valuable member of any wheel sword corps. He is the only goblin known to have both stolen from the Goldmongers Guild and stolen for them. It's rare that those who steal from the patrons survive long enough to tell anyone, but Denzel was never really caught. It was his mother who had pledged the family warrant against the Mountain of Gold to buy an army of assassins, and when it came time to pay, she and Denzel's 50 siblings were on the verge of becoming homeless. In exchange for his indentured servitude, 20 years and a day, the warrant was returned and Denzel earned a copper link. He soon returned the 3 diamonds he had stolen against 3 years, and after nearly 17 years of collecting for the patrons, he has but 20 more days to serve and he is a free man. Oddly enough, Denzel still wears a copper link, knowing the exact day his service would be over. He's never felt the need to mark his advancement towards freedom. So again, copper link means low servant member of the wheel swords, and then there's a silver link. I believe the silver link is given when you are considered advanced enough to lead a corps. Nella, an accomplished mage and extraordinary wheel sword, Nella was awarded her silver link by the patrons with the rest of her corps when they recovered 30 stone of gold from a rather powerful and reticent scorpion flesh mage. Nella's fire is said to still burn within the smoking laboratories of the foolish debtor, serving as a reminder to those who forget to pay the goldmongers that no man or creature can escape repossession. Nella is determined, curious, resourceful, and credited with an incredible memory. In spite of her tremendous investigative drive, she has yet to discover why her parents sold her to the guild as a child. Nevertheless, she is truly happy as a wheel sword, and feels herself more daughter than a sword for hire. Nella will certainly be the first in her corps to earn gold, but there's little risk she'll leave the guild once she's earned her freedom. She's being groomed to become a patron. Okay, so they can obviously stay with the guild after they've earned their gold link. Wenderu was sold by her clan of Vile Tis to the Goldmongers Guild for a wagon load of swords. The chieftain still thinks he got an incredible bargain, but he might be less boastful if he knew that Wenderu has been plotting to skin him alive ever since. She was only 5 that day, but she remembers all too well the scent of the grey-furred wolven. Her hate has proven useful in her priestly studies of the Rat God, and her powers are immense. Wenderu draws blood as easily as she heals wound, doing whatever is required of her through her contract to the guild. She has only ever known one corps, that of Nella, Knocker, and Denzel, who consider the wolfen a sister. She has told them that the day she gets her gold link and the freedom to go and come as she pleases, she'll be off to tear the village who sold her down to the ground. Until that day, she treats her fellows as if they were her pack. Okay, another thing just very quickly, won't take as long. So each of our members has a passive advantage and disadvantage, basically. For example, Knocker has the advantage that when she kills an enemy, when she gets the final hit, she heals herself for 350 HP. Her weakness is that her skills use up her health, so she doesn't have mana points or stamina points. She just has to use her life points to use her skills. Then we have Denzel. His advantage is that he has increased critical hit chance and critical hit damage, but he does not gain HP when leveling up. and his armor levels are low, so he's he's a very offensive character. His damage is high, but his defense is not good. Nella, her advantage is that she has no cooldown on her skills, so I can spam them as much as I like, of course as long as I have the mana. And the weakness is that control effects last longer on her, so taunting effects and such. We'll see more of them later. Wenderu, her advantage is that no anti-magic effects work on her. Her weakness is that she doesn't regenerate mana. Although she uses it for her skills, she has no inherent mana regeneration, which means I need to basically feast on my allies to gain mana. We'll see how that works in just a bit. First though, everyone attack the swordsman, except for Denzel, who will go after the archer. And I'll activate his buff. Don't think I'll need to use any other skills at this stage. Later fights or boss fights and such will be more tactical. Okay, damage modifiers, whether integer or fine. Okay, rewards. We will occasionally get loot from killing enemies and opening chests and such, which we can equip on our characters. Let's do that in a bit. Inventory, I'll also show you myself. Damage modifiers, whether integer or percentage, are applied to both attack and skill damage. In some cases it's specified that the damage is raw, meaning that no modifier affects it and no armor reduces it. Type of damage and armor, attack and skill damage may be magic or physical, and both are reduced by the armor of the same type. The higher is...
I bet it's going to rain tomorrow.
The higher is armor value, the more it absorbs damage. Slightly strange grammar there, but fine. Okay, let's look at the inventory. We don't have extensive equipment. We have a slot for amulets, rings, earrings, and relics on each character. And we share a common inventory. So basically we just found a ring, a crenulated ring, which gives +5 physical armor. So I'm going to give that to our tank, even though +5 is not much. He already has 110 to begin with, so that's less than 5% gain. 4%-ish for something anyway. We haven't got any other equipment yet, so obviously nothing else to equip. So yeah, I meant to show you the enemy stat screen thing, which I'll do the next fight. There's plenty to go around. It's got a very nice landscape as well. I really like the art style of the game, and the music is also, I think, very fitting. Now, we should encounter another group of enemies soon, if I remember correctly. Yes. So let's send Knocker forward. Okay, so here we see some... another feature of the game. Firstly, let me show you. If I click on an enemy, I get his portrait up here. If I click on that portrait again, I get very detailed information about that enemy. So for example, the swordsman, I can tell he has 90 physical armor and 20 magic armor. So he's weak against magic and a lot stronger against physical attacks. His damage type is physical, his attack cycle is 1, which I believe that means he does 1 attack per second. The attack cycle means that's how much time it takes between his attacks. And his damage is 10 to 20. He also has a special skill, Strength of the Lion, which does 100 to 150 damage on his target, physical damage. And we have a new enemy now, the Bard of Alahan. He does magic damage, he is slower attacking, so 1.5 attack cycle, I believe that's what that means. He does more damage, and he has 2 skills. He has Invocation of the Light, which after 5 seconds of incantation time, the Bard casts a ball of light, which inflicts 500 magic damage on all wheeled swords, through which it passes for 25 meters. The ball of light heads in a straight line towards the target, and can be manually avoided, which is very important. I'll show you that in a second. And we have the Seal of Lan, which reduces the magic armor of a target by 30% for 5. For how long? Okay, it doesn't tell me for how long, just it has an AoE effect. Now, what I'll do is, details of enemy info, yes, I've just shown you that. I'll move Nella over here. We can tell by if we hover over this, if we hover over the guy, we can tell which of our troops he's aiming that attack at, so that fireball. So as we can see, he's aiming it at Wendoru. Around Wendoru you can see a kind of red circle thing, which tells us she's the target of that spell. And that's that fireball, which can be manually avoided. So let's move Nokka over here, let's move Denzel over here as well, and let's try to get Wendoru into a better location. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay, Nella, you can go here, please. Now he's just cast his fireball. Oh, yes, avoid directional projectiles. I know. I will heal on Nokka just to have the heal. Now the fireball is flying. It's now going to move in a straight line, so I can just move Wendoru out the way, and that fireball isn't going to do anything. Actually, let me check. This looks like a good location. Because Nella has a different skill, and another skill. She has the lightning damage, the celestial blow, but she also has escape, which is a controlled skill, and it knocks down all units within 4 meters for 2.5 seconds. This includes allies, so I have to be careful with the positioning. I believe I'll move her slightly back, and now if I activate this, it's instant cast and doesn't require a target, costs 150 MP. She has 300 at the moment, but she unlike Wendoru, regenerates it. So I'll show you escape quickly. I just accidentally hit the pause button twice, which is why it just did a second and then paused again. Okay, now the Bard is casting his Invocation of the Light again on Wendoru. I could again get my guys out of the way and then use the manual dodge. Otherwise, I could also use escape. This will knock the guy down, and it interrupts his casting. And that makes the escape skill very valuable. I will be using that skill extensively towards the game. Okay, we've got a polarized amulet, nice.
Treacherous Knights of the Light! They fight like cowards, attacking without good reason.
If Lord Mornstar has sent troops to kill us, he disagrees with the Guild's claim on his property. We need to escape these estates and find a goldmonger outpost.
There's a guild house 3 days' walk from here. 2 days if we walk through the night. But we can be off Mornstar lands in an hour if we head northwest.
Mornstar is a fool. The Goldmonger Guild will bleed his house dry for attacking a wheel sword-sanctioned corps. The treasure in the crypt was ours to claim. He should have paid his debts.
This has gone beyond words and contractual threats. Blood has been spilled here. We must flee to safer grounds and contact our patron Lakshai.
Okay, we've gotten a polarized amulet. This is a magic amulet. So the ring we found was just a ring, normal. You can see white name. The polarized amulet is blue, which means it's slightly enchanted, slightly magical. There's 2 additional tiers of item that we will encounter later on. This improves magic armor and physical damage, so I'm going to give it to Nokka because her damage is physical, as we can see right here. And she can use the additional armor because she's our tank. Now, I think this episode has gone on for long enough. It won't stay as dry and full of tutorial stuff for long. There will be a lot more fun to be had. So I hope you enjoyed. Leave comments and feedback and such as always. And a like is appreciated. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.